Yo, yo, yo! How we all doing? I'm gonna play a rapid game. Now, something about yesterday. I could not really lose. I don't know what's gone on with my chess, but I've gone up like 100 rating points in a day. I think I hit 1795 on Lee Chess. And I'm 1757 in rapid, so hopefully some of that form is gonna rub off on me today, not on Krotukor. Okay, E45, let's go. Also planning a bit of a new course, kind of a quickie really, on for E4 players, right? So I've got a course on the Goering, which is as white E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, D4 the Scotch takes, and C3. That is my opening of choice for white. And why my opponent is waiting 30 seconds on move 2, I haven't the foggiest. But anyway, the bishop's opening. Okay, now I also have, of course, on the Freddy Krueger repertoire, and our recommendation here is 2 F5 against the bishop's opening. It's very tricky, and I score rather well. This is known as the Calabrese Countergambit. What is the difference between a countergambit and a gambit, you ask? No one really knows. Okay, you're going to play knight F6 whatever happens, and the reason is because there's no knight here, which means the queen can get straight out to H5 with check. We don't want that. Okay, the point now is that the move D5 is defended by the queen and the knight. Should we do defense in green? Let's do defense in green. So we get the move D5 now, abusing his bishop that has literally just gone out there on move 2. Bishop now retreats, and now I can capture this pawn. I can also play C3, but there's no reason to play C3 just yet, right? So let's play bishop takes F5. We've now recovered our pawn. We have 2 minor pieces out on the board to his 1, plus his 1 is not good, because he's also played the move D3. So when C6 comes, his bishop can't visit any of these squares. It means it's going to be constrained just to there, right? So now what I'm thinking is knight B to D7 and C6. Knight B, D7 probably first, right? With the idea that if they take here, we can recapture. The problem, of course, with knight B, D7 is this knight is currently pinned. Therefore, this knight is not currently defending that. Therefore, the only defender of that is the queen. And if I play knight B to D7, am I not blocking the queen's defense of that? So I'm going to play actually the move C6 first, so that this pawn is defended. I'm talking really fast. I'm talking like Will Taylor, aren't I? If you don't watch Will Taylor chess, you should watch Will Taylor. He's great. Really good. He's is it 2200-ish? Plays a lot of fun stuff, really fun stuff. Okay, now it sucked to be white right now, right? Because look at this. Yeah, he's got 2 bishops out on the board, but this one's in a graveyard here. It's literally constrained to these 2 squares right now. He's going to have to move this c-pawn at some point. If this ever pushes forward, I might push forward to e4, controlling this square. This bishop's like, oh, I've got your knight in a pin. I'm like, am I bothered though? I've got bishop e7, or bishop here or here. Maybe not there, here. Okay, so now he's attacking this pawn. So bishop d6 is an idea, and knight b to d7 is an idea. I think knight b d7 is the more flexible of the 2, because it's like, well, where else is that knight going to go? It's not going to go to a6, really, is he? Not really. There's no prospects around on that side of the board. So do this. Now this bishop has many, many options. Potentially 4 squares that it could go to. So what you should be doing now, while your opponent's thinking, is thinking strategically, where does that bishop want to be? Well, one of the obvious ones is c5 to line up against the castled king, should white castle short. This move also has its merits, defending that knight. Now, what's your thought here? This pawn's in a pin, and it's also now attacked 2 times. So that's making me think, well, what about this and then castles? Don't see a problem with that. You take, you lose a piece, simply. If he takes here, though, okay, so notice this pawn is defended by that bishop and that knight. Okay, this knight here is defended by that knight and that pawn, so we have a duplicate here, right? So if he trades, maybe the easiest thing I can take with, can I just take with the bishop? Because then queen takes and you lose a queen. If he takes h6, is the plan this? I can just go there. I think I just castle here. Just that's completely instinctive, but I'm over defending this knight. I'm getting my king off the e file of d file. What's this? Oh, hello, Claire. Right. Okay. Knight b to d2. Opponent might be thinking, having fantasies of long castles. And this feels like a crux moment, right? I've played quickly so far. Okay, still two attackers. Still two attackers, two defenders. I'm thinking about rook e8. Also thinking about a5, a4. We might just want to de-encourage long castles, I don't know. What if we push? Takes. This knight is still actually pinned. So maybe a move like queen b6. But yeah, white hasn't committed yet to which side he's going to put his king on. This knight is still in a pin. We don't want that. I could put the question to the bishop. He goes here, here, here. There's no follow-up. And I've weakened my pawns. I like the fact that my knight's covered by his friend here. Queen c7 maintains 3 defenders on that pawn. Okay, let's revisit e4. There's no kind of obvious next move. I mean, queen e8 is even a thought. I kind of like leaving that rook on the f-file because it's semi-open. There's no black pawn. It's my only, on my side, it's my only open file. So there's some logic to keeping that there. Also, if he goes long, maybe if my queen's on b6, we've got ideas of that. I'm just going to play queen c7. Notice this is undefended currently. Maybe rook a8 with ideas of just pushing on through. So if we've got a rook on here, there takes, and rook takes, and it's now his bishop's got to come back. So this feels very natural now. He still hasn't castled. If he goes long, I might just throw in a5 with ideas of a4. He's going to have to move his a pawn. Both of my bishops are theoretically looking down that side. And also kind of this side as well. So my bishops are quite flexible. His bishops, on the other hand, are kind of crisscrossing. Okay. Right, coffee. That knight is not great there, is it? I'm also planning a new book. That's interesting, and this is on philosophy. So one of my areas of interest in the past has been the big questions of life. You know, how can we be happy, etc. So I wrote a book in about 2019, 2020 called The Red Pill Revolution, which talked about how to be free mentally, and then that was followed by the Red Pill Food Revolution, I think in 2022, that talked about the history of food, how food has been used to control us in the past, and still kind of is. Notice the bishop can't go there. If I push h6 here, I think he's got to trade off, and I think that's good for me. Because that knight's not fantastic. I've also got this though. Do I want to do this? He trades. No, that's still not a great square for a knight. But that's a bad bishop. I don't want to attack that bishop because it's like I'm not even threatening to take you. There, he can't go back here because I've got d4, and the bishop's then lost. So he has to trade. I could take with a rook, but does his knight want to come in here? I do that, he takes. If I do that, is the knight going to come in? Well, I don't think so. Okay, sold. I'm going to take that with the rook. I've already decided. Not even messing around. White has some weaknesses. Okay, Exhibit A. He's already moved these pawns on the king side. So I can clearly nut Cathal short. He's also got a backwards pawn right now. And now knight g6 isn't playable. Might have ideas of a disco. I mean, the knight is undefended. If it was to be attacked, he has got this. Okay, now he castles. Now we have it. Okay. Rook A, f8. Just this and that looks good though. Still a very bad bishop. Now I want to leave that bishop bad. Right? His bad bishop is good for me. What was I talking about? Can't remember. That's still defended by the queen. But, you know, if this knight should move, I might think about trading my knight for this bishop, simply because it comes with advantages. You know, messing up these pawns in some way on the queen side now could be good. His knight's retreat squares are these. He still has this. But I do win a pawn if he does that. Takes, takes, and rook takes. You've got to like black here. It's got to be -1, I think. Okay, defends his knight. So currently, I've got 2 attackers on here. He's got 2 defenders. Can I add a third? That would do it. There, there. Well, this, there. That doesn't do it. That does it. Actually, yeah, I've got to be a little bit careful there. Here. I think it's time to cash in this knight, actually. No, I don't, because it's defending that. Okay, I'm going to bring this back. So I've got queen and bishop defending e5, and then I've got this, and I might even, like I say, take out that bishop. But he's got a problem there, because you see these 2 pieces are kind of stuck in the defence of this knight. So if he tried to move that, he'd lose a piece. If he moves his queen away from the defence of the knight, he loses a piece. So the pressures here are not... If I take a knight takes... I'm going to take it anyway. This puts pressure on that, right? You can just push F3. Got that feeling that if this was a blitz game, I'd have wiped him off the board by now. Defended twice. I don't think this benefits me in any way. Also, that's under attack. It's defended by the rook. Okay. Okay. Most of my pawns in the middle are on light squares. I feel like this benefits me slightly. I could even take with a knight if I wanted to as well. Maybe go back to d4, have options. But these knights are actually looking quite good now. I've got queen b6 as well as that. But again, he just pushes the pawn and goes... Pfft. Like that ugly orc in the Battle of Pelennor Fields, where the big bit of... rubble's coming through the air and he just sidesteps and goes... Puh. Okay. Knight takes. Because the reason is d4 is a lovely square. Does he want this? F4 as well, though. Blocks the pawn, hits the queen, hits h3, and prevents this. Yeah? So to defend the pawn, he's got to play one of these moves, I think. I really want to keep this pawn chain here. I want that bishop blocked out of the game for good. I think bishop c5 looks nice. Kind of pinning this pawn as well. If his queen goes there, I haven't got it. But anywhere else, I could play bishop c5 and put extra pressure on there. Okay, that's defended by the queen, actually. That's a nice fork on king and rook, but currently defended by the queen. I haven't got this. I've got that. I've got a queen c8. This move looks dead natural, doesn't it? Let's just play it. He's scrapping though. He's managed to get his pieces quite active. His rooks are quite good, taking advantage of the semi-open g-file. His knight, which was a real weakness, is now loitering with intent, and his queen is firing. I've pinned this. If I was to take... Nope. Queen b6 threatens just bishop takes there. See, I'm not worried about this. I just put my rook there. Material is equal. There, if he takes back. Oh shit, no, if it go there he goes, he takes there with mate. Bollocks. So which rook do I want to put there? I quite like to change off the queens, trade off the queens. The reason is that he hasn't got a light square bishop. I know I can see it as well as you can, but right now it's not doing anything. Also, his queen's defending a fork. So I'd like to do this, the only problem is I get a bit mated. So I don't think it really matters which rook I put there. Oh, it kind of does, because now I can't play queen. Can't play queen c8 anyway, because it's not defended by the rook anymore. Oh oh. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, I've got queen d7, where it is defended by the rook. Yeah, I know. A bit slow. Clock is pretty equal. I'm not too worried about my king safety. My king health looks quite good. Because I've got enough bits. Because, you know, all of... my bishop could drop back down there. His bishop can't do a thing. Nothing. His knight can't really move. It can't go there because I take it with the rook. And if he goes there, I take it with the rook. Queen takes, knight takes, queen. I win. So his knight's not happy at all. His knight has to go back there or there. But again, any opportunities for trades, I think I'm going to do it. But I like this horse. That is a nice horse. That will do. That will do, horsey. I don't kind of sit here bored, you know, sitting with my thumb up your arse, waiting for your opponent to move. A bit like it's feeling like I prefer 5-minute blitz. So I'll just show you while we're here. Look at that jump there. From 1692 on the 1st of September, that's 4 days ago, to 1790. I think my highest ever is I hit 18 whatever at some point, 1815 there for a couple of days after I joined League Chess. So my goal is like 1850, which is, what's that, 1600 odd. 1600 blitz equivalent on chess.com. I'm now a minute and 3/4 up on the clock. And he can barely move his queen. He can only move his queen there and there, because my knight guards that and that, and he's got to prevent knight to e2 check with a fork. So I think we're okay here. And my idea is queen d7, after which he thinks for another minute. And if he doesn't want to swap queens, he has to go there, I think. Because that makes no sense. I think it's going to be queen there. Well, then I'd love to do that. So let's say I do this, he does this. Can I do that? No. He takes. I still haven't got this. I go there, he goes there. I could just take that pawn for free, because I've got discovery on the queen. Although, you know, these aren't the pawns I really, really want to remove. Okay, I'm just going to chuck this move in. Nothing's massively changed with that move, so I'm 3 minutes up on the clock now. There is an increment, though. The weather today is increment. Okay. So he didn't think for a minute. Okay, so attack. These isolated pawns are a weakness. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago when the strength of pawns failed. Right, now he's moving a bit quicker, look. I attack the rook. I just want to do this. Does he want to do this? What's he wanting to do? I think I just might be able to blitz him a bit here. See, for some reason I've got more moves than he's got. Right, more not bad moves. And finding not bad moves is very often, at this level, all you need. I mean, even really bad moves sometimes don't lose. So I'm thinking, doubling up my rooks on the f-file against this pawn. That's a strategy. Medium-term strategy. Because the king's now on the second rank. This pawn is currently undefended, you know. So this, something like attack the rook. Then he goes there. Oh, he doesn't. No, he doesn't do that because he just loses a piece because of this pawn in the way. I mean, having a rook behind a pawn is great if the pawn's running up the board, but when it's on f2, that's just not running. That's not running anywhere. And after that, if I had to go anywhere, I was running. I think we should call the f-pawn forest. Don't you? Maybe not if it's not running. Oh! Well, he's prevented that move. But not this one. Okay, you may come here, it doesn't work. I'm now 5 minutes up on the clock. I have the luxury of having a wide selection of not bad moves. That would be a bad move. That would lose a piece. What am I doing here? What am I actually up to? See, finally he's had to move his bishop. Just to try and get it to play some role in the game. Yeah, what am I doing? Am I trying to just run down the clock like some coward? Never felt away without me. Here, knight. And he can't go there. And he can't go there because I take him. He can't go there because I take him. I declare this knight trapped. Go here, rook takes. Here, rook takes. Here, knight takes. Can't go there. Bad news, brother. And it's because my opponent somehow was lacking in space, as in, okay, I nearly just auto took. You don't want to do that. I'm taking with the rook. Right, now I'm up in exchange and the knight is still bad. Yes, he's got this square now. But I do this. You do this to defend? Has this. He's on 2 minutes, I'm on nearly 8. Yeah, so my point is, good moves leave your pieces coordinated, right, and give you more options. I'm definitely thinking about targeting this pawn again. Yeah, does that make sense? We know about space. When your pawns are shoved up the board and you've got lots of squares behind your pawns that are generally safe, you can move your, almost anything anywhere and you know it's going to be relatively safe. When you're on the side without the space, I think just this. If he does this, I just take. Even pre-move it. Yeah, when you've got the side without the space, it's got like you might only have a handful of squares where your bits can actually go, and some of those might be under control by your opponent's forces. That's the problem. See, I'm not having to think very hard at this point to find moves that aren't bad, and even moves that put a little bit of pressure on my opponent. Like, it's something that Collins taught us from the start, Chess Bootcamp Live. You're playing a 10-minute game. All you need to do is create 10.5 minutes worth of problems for your opponent. So I know that move doesn't harm me. Watch. There'll be a hold my beer moment any second now. Just wait for this. Actually, right, I declare this pawn pinned, okay? Because that's defended only by the king, okay? So I can push, take. Push, takey. It's got to be good for us, Precious, hasn't it? Notice as well, I'm putting my important chunk on dark squares because he's only got a light square bishop, this fella. And now he's down to a minute. So, I'm already lining up my next move that isn't bad. Now the knight defends. Okay. So let's have a go at this. If he takes, I'm taking back with the bishop to attack this pawn and pair up my bishop and pawn in the middle of the board. So if you look at the pattern of this game, it's like, and look at the clock, right? He's now over 7 minutes behind on the clock because he almost just can't find good moves. Now he has got 55 seconds and there is an increment. If I was to push, he can just take here. He can't take the other pawn that's pinned. I push, he takes. I push. I'm just going to push here. Now if he takes, I take here, and we've got an open file with a king on it. 42. 40. Yeah, so it's like the first half of the game I used my time, but I got an improved position. I felt like he kind of rushed the opening. See how long he's taking on his moves now. I think if he'd taken longer with his first moves, he wouldn't be off the pace at this point now. Now he's down to 5 seconds, and he's going to be in trouble. I'm just going to pre-move something. Ha! Okay, now he's working on the increment only. Oh my goodness me. Okay, give me a move that isn't bad. And a pre-move. He's trying to do the same. Okay. And I think King G7 is a good backup. And we win on time. Okay, interesting. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Did Black get an early advantage, which then resulted in the time pressure. That's my hypothesis. And I wish you'd, please, just put thinking. Just put thinking. Don't go 100% off, 60%, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I'm really, really, really strong here. But look, was white better in this section ever? No. White was better here. Plus 0.9 after the move f5. Okay, computer doesn't like it. The computer recommends d4. Very rarely played d4. If you look at this, e takes f5 is played 46% of the time, right? After which, right, you play knight f6. Okay, knight f6 is like only move here. Yeah, machine says. Okay. d3, bit wimpish. Again, knight f6. You know, I think it's pretty much knight f6 on. Obviously, apart from that, you play g6. Yeah. Yeah, has to be g6. There's no other move. The only other legal move is king e7. Then it's mate in 3. The something like that. Oi oi oi. Anyway, so after this move, oops, d3, slightly inaccurate because he's now taken a square away from his bishop. What should he have played? He should have played knight c3 or retreat the bishop to e2. Right? But why? Because d5 is coming with tempo. It's a free move for black. Yeah, d5 is the only move. Very slight advantage now to black. Bishop e3. And now bishop takes f5. And we've just got a small advantage. That's the point. Right? Out of the opening. And now, you know, from this point, I don't know what to do. You know? From this point, I'm just playing chess. c6 is the most common played move. It's also the engine move. Yeah, because we might want to play knight b to d7 like we discussed. So that's all good. That's all good. And at this point, you know, I just built an advantage and never let go. So that is a nice way to win a game of chess. Anyway, so yeah, I'll tell you more about my my course plan later on. But hope you enjoyed that little game. I quite enjoyed it myself, I have to say, as you can probably tell. I'll see you next time. Take care.